happy New Year's to all of you lovely teacups out there. Welcome to Spill It. Spill It is a show where I get to speak to inspirational people and share some inspirational stories to connect people together, inspire others, and help people learn something new. This is episode 78, Spill It in 2021. Today, it is just family. There is no special guest out there in the green room waiting to come out for you guys. No, it is just family. It is just me, and it's just you guys at home. I just want to say, Spill It in 2021 has been absolutely amazing, beyond words. There's been so many good memories, and I'm going to share some of my favorite memories of 2021 with you today. However, if you haven't checked out all the other episodes yet of 2021, then make sure that you head over to the Spill It website at www.spillit.uk, where you'll be able to see all of the episodes and more. You'll be able to find links to the podcast. You'll also be able to find links to the official Patreon, and you'll also be able to find links to buy your own Spill It merchandise. Now, just to let you know, my voice may sound a little bit weird. I'm still not 100%. For some reason, over the last few weeks, all I keep saying to you guys is I'm not feeling 100%. Actually, this week I tested positive for COVID. I'm okay. It just means I'm isolating at the moment, so I'm staying at home while you guys are all partying for New Year's. I'm going to be sat at home doing pretty much nothing. Because I'm trying to rest myself as much as I can so I can get well, and then I can party when I actually am into the new year. But yes, anyway, just wanted to let you know that. And obviously, if I have a massive coughing fit, then you know why. Because, COVID, yay! When you get in, make sure that you have liked, you have shared, and you have commented. It's great to see you all on this lovely evening as well. But just drop a comment and just say hi. I'd love to spend some time with you guys as well. And you guys can share your memories of Spill It in 2021 as well. Because it is the end of season 2. I can't believe it. I've come to the end of season 2. So season 1 finished in April this year, or March, sorry, it finished in March this year. And then I took April off, and then I started Spill It season 2 in May. So I had like 3 to 4 weeks off. During that 3 to 4 weeks off, I was doing absolutely everything that I could do to book all of my guests as much in advance as I could. And I'd managed to get all of my guests booked from April up until the end of November. So I have had guests like pre-booked months in advance. And it was because of the work that I did back in April, and to get it all ready and to get it all set up, ready to kick off in May. And yeah, this year we celebrated Spill It's first birthday. I've had some amazing guests, some celebrity guests, some not celebrity guests, some just ordinary people who have done extraordinary things out there. I've spoken to some unsigned artists as well. I like bands who are absolutely amazing, and I feel like I've become actual friends with these people. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And don't worry, the reason that I'm cutting this break a little bit shorter, or this season's shorter, sorry, because normally what I wanted to do is I wanted to go from run from May to March, have April off, and that would be my thing every year. However, I just felt like I just needed a bit of time to kind of have a break from Spill It, and sort everything out, ready for 2022. There's so much planned for 2022, so don't worry, Spill It's not going anywhere. I'm just having an early break. And it's not even going to be a break because there's so much planning and everything that needs to be involved ready for 2022 that I'm not going to get a break. It's basically just not going to be filmed and live. I wish that I could do like my lives all the way through. And you never know, I might do like little spontaneous lives when I'm doing the things that I'm doing to plan and prep for season 3 of season 3 of Spill It. Ah, that's crazy. It just sounds crazy. Season 3 of Spill It. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really, really, really excited, to be fair. And I hope that you guys are too. I just want to say, though, a massive thank you to absolutely everybody who has followed this journey from wherever. Actually, if you've hopped in and you have listened to one episode and you have stuck with me, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys out there. It's honestly, it means so much. There are people who have followed this journey from day one, from the very first live show that I did way back in June 2020, when I did an episode with Lisa, and it was called, well, we were talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it was something that we both knew about, like what we knew about, and it was just something that we could just talk about naturally, and it was a way for me to test all of this and see how it would work and see what the reception would be. And then obviously now is, so that was back in 2020, and there are people who have stuck with me from there. And there are other people, especially all over the globe as well. I can't believe it, all over the globe. Honestly, when I get the notification to say that another country's been hit, I'm like, this is mental. There are people across the globe who have tuned in to Spill It on the podcast or on the live shows, like more recently as well. And it is unbelievable. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely thank absolutely every single person who has continued to jump into this, who has continued to support me. And you know what? Like at the end of every episode, I'll always say, like, you know what, you can go on and join the Patreon. It's £2 per month. Or you can go and buy merch and that'll help support this. The biggest support that you guys do is just by tuning in every single week, because it honestly, it makes me come back. It makes me want to do more. It makes me want to get bigger and better guests for you. There's just so much. Honestly, it genuinely makes me smile so much. When I think about where Spill It started and where it is now, and then what the future holds for Spill It as well. It is crazy, and I have got all of you guys to thank for that. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say a massive thank you. Now, enough sentimental stuff, because as I say, Spill It isn't going anywhere. It's not like I'm going to say goodbye and then all of a sudden I'm going to be like, oh my god, because I'm coming back. Spill It will be back in 2022. We'll be back for season 3. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. There's going to be a hell of a lot more stuff happening. One of the things that I can talk about is the fact that Spill It isn't going to be me stuck in my room. It's not going to be me stuck in this little office space of mine doing this on a live show on the PC in the spare room or whatever. No, there's actual plans where I'm going to be out and about, and I'm going to be doing Spill It live events, and I'm going to be doing the Spill It show, but actually engaging with people face to face and doing actual face to face interviews and stuff. There's so many different plans. So yeah, that's one of the main things. Yeah, you know me, guys. I just I overshare. I overshare. I love it. I love you all. But this is the episode where we're going to be talking about Spill It in 2021, because obviously we're coming to the end of 2021. You guys are going to be waiting. Half of you guys will be really, really drunk already. But I wanted to share some of my thoughts of 2021. It all started as well. Spill It season 2 first started in, as I say, May. Episode 1 of season 2 started back in May. And I had, what a great guest I had to start off with. I had Hollywood actress Brianne Davis. Now, she has been in films. She was in Jarhead. She was on Lucifer recently. She was in Dawson's Creek. This is like a Hollywood actress, and she reached out to me over on Instagram. So she started following me randomly on Instagram, and I was like, what? I was like, why? Why is she following me? I don't understand. And conversation started flowing between us, and she said that she wanted to come on the show. She wanted to come on the show. She wanted to share a story. And I was like, yeah, 100%, 100%. And so I booked her for the first episode of season 2. And what an amazing guest. It was such a thrill and such a privilege to have her on the show, especially for my launch, for my opener of season 2 as well. But the stories that she had about overcoming addiction through like sex and love addiction, explaining what sex and love addiction actually is, but then comparing that to just normal addictions and what it's like to live with an addiction, overcoming that and being a better version of yourself. She was so open and so vulnerable with us. It was such a pleasure to see. And I've got a short little clip of our episode together.
Yeah, so my quote links to the book. There's a chapter 10. There's a moment when Roxanne realizes she is her own soulmate, that there's no one out there that's going to fix her, that's going to complete her, that you're not cut in half, that we are our own soulmates. And I saw this quote when I was working on it. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance by Oscar Wilde. And I taped it up on my computer. I taped it up on my mirror when I was going through, like, I complete myself. I live and die with myself. I better love myself first.
And there you go. What a great person to have on the show. And she's written a book as well. So she wrote her own book, being obviously a sex and love addict. She's just such an inspirational person. And I was so grateful to have her on the show as my first guest. And it didn't stop there. Back in September, the celebrities just kept rolling through. I actually got to sit down and speak with Daniel Franzese from the hit film Mean Girls. Wow! Now, me and Danny have been talking for over a year, actually. I tried to get him on for season 1, and I wanted him on in October because of Mean Girls Day, October 3rd. And I really, really wanted him on the show then. However, there was a lot of stuff that he was going through in his personal life, which meant that he couldn't commit. But we were talking all the way through 2021, and we got him booked. I got him booked. It was such a great episode. It was just mind-blowing. The fact that I was speaking to somebody who I quote like at least once a week. Like, honestly, my mind was just blown. The fact that I had Danny Franzese, this Hollywood actor, the person who is in one of my favorite films, came on my show, told his story. It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And here is a little video clip of me and Danny Franzese's episode back in September. Found a drink the other day, and he said it was lush, and I'm just hoping that it'll... There we go.
Oh, what does that taste like? Coconut... What does it say at the bottom?
So it says coconut IPA.
So it's an IPA. All right.
Yes, it's an IPA. It's 5.2%. And yeah, it's called Tiny Rebel. You go, Glen Coco, and he really wanted me to share that to you.
I'm so glad he did. I actually love that. I want a can of that now. Somebody's gonna send me a can of that, please.
I mean, what? Just the fact that I was speaking to Danny Franzese, just the fact that I've been speaking to him over on Instagram for a while and continuously speak to him as well, even after the episode. It is so random, the fact that I have got actual contacts who are actual celebrities. And I'm like, what? What is my life even about anymore? It's just absolutely mental. Mental, I tell you. Mental. You go, Glen Coco. So for those who don't know, who haven't seen Mean Girls, where have you been? Like, why? But Mean Girls, so the film, so he plays a character called Damien, who is too gay to function, quote of the film. And the You Go, Glen Coco is what you saw on the drink there on the video clip is a quote that he says when he's dressed as Santa, and he's giving out the little secret Santas to the class, and he goes, "Oh, 4 for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco." And it's just a quote that people just, it's honestly, he's such a quotable character in that film. And I had him on the show. What is that about? He's just, yeah, crazy. But it's not all just been celebrity after celebrity. And there have been some really good stories from just ordinary people who have done some really extraordinary things as well. I've spoken to Bobby, who over in the US, who is a multi-hyphenated artist, quote from himself. I've spoken to so many people around the world. I've spoken to people over in America. I've spoken to people over in Holland. I've spoken to people in the UK. I've spoken to people in Denmark. It's just absolutely crazy the amount of people that I've spoken to who have come on the show, who've wanted to come on the show to tell their story. Amongst those as well, I've spoken to bands. So Unsigned Artists was something that I wanted to kind of speak about. And there was a group of people originally who came onto the show in season 1 when we did the takeover episodes, and I really, really wanted them to come back on the show. I really wanted them to get the whole Spill It experience, because I felt like the way that their personalities were. Now, for those who watched the takeover episodes or listened to the takeover episodes, what happened is that there was a host who wasn't me. It was me giving them the opportunity to run their own show, just to see, if they had any, like, basically, I put a shout out to see if there was anybody that wanted what was interested in starting their own podcast or doing their own little thing, starting their own radio station or whatever. And I wanted to give somebody a platform where they could just not have to fork out money to do it themselves or set up everything and it just not work, or they just realized that they couldn't do it. I wanted to give people the platform to see if they could do it, essentially. And so the takeover stuff happened at the end of season 1, and Jonathan Simpson came on and he interviewed the band all over again. And they were fab. And now, when this happened, obviously, I didn't just leave the guys alone. I was in the back. I was being the producer for the day. And I vibed with the guys of All Over Again so much that I wanted them to come back to have a full Spill It experience with me as the host. And that's what I did. And honestly, we laughed so much. It was such a good episode. And honestly, when I say that, Spill It has got plans in 2022, I have got plans for these guys in 2022, as well as another group as well that you'll see shortly. But you will definitely see All Over again, because they will be back. And here is a short clip of the video that we did back in, I think it was like June. I'm not too sure anymore, but yeah. But yeah, here is the clip of me and the All Over Again band again.
An existential on a Wednesday, Jesus.
Yeah.
that's what life is now with lockdown, isn't it?
It is.
It's all right. After this, we're all just going to go and have an existential crisis. That's fine.
I'm gonna
have to go out on a walk and find my centre and everything.
Have to meditate.
I am
here later.
I am here. I am one with the earth. I exist.
Honestly, they are so cool, and I followed their journey for a while now since Jonathan Simpson brought them onto the show originally back in the end of season 1. I followed their journey for the last few months, and when I say that they are the most genuine people I have met, they are the most genuine people I have ever met. And we vibed so well. It was just so good. We just had a laugh. It just felt like we were all just really good friends and we were all just having a chat away. Now, there are going to be, as I say, there are plans for All Over Again in 2022, as well as these guys as well. This was Regional 1. This is the other band that I spoke to this year as well.
Ron Petrol.
He's my panic answer. Ron Petrol is our theoretical answer to Vin Diesel.
Yeah, it's the antithesis. It's the complete opposite.
Imagine Vin Diesel from Wish.com, and you're
He's sort of an unofficial mascot that we don't talk about. But
yeah, so Regional 1 came on the show as well. Great guys as well. Great journey that they've had. And I really am so excited to see how their journey unfolds. I think they have got such a unique flair to their music, to their artistry. I think that they work so well together as a band. And I genuinely believe that there is going to be a bright, bright future for them. Now, both of these guys, both of the bands came onto the show, and I have been working in the background on some really, really cool stuff for those bands and Spill It. Now, when the bands came onto the show, there were a lot of their fans that came onto the Spill, came and watched the Spill It show and obviously supported them. It was great to see, and I wanted to do something that commemorated their time on the show, and so I have been working with somebody else who normally does my t-shirt designs and all of that. I'm going to be working with him on some individual artwork t-shirts specifically to commemorate their time on the show. You're going to be able to pick up some t-shirts of the individual band members. It's going to be obviously Spill It logoed, but it's going to all be just showcasing their time on the show as some additional merch as well. So that's going to be available in 2022. And as I say, this won't be the last time that you hear from them. So I'm going to be working on some special interviews with All Over Again and Regional 1 as well. And Young Error, who I interviewed only a few weeks ago. All three of those have agreed to do some special interviews with me in the new year. I really can't wait to start doing those interviews with them and actually traveling to them and actually seeing them live and actually filming stuff live for them and actually working alongside them on some other stuff. Honestly, it's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All of that and more is going to be happening over in 2022 in season 3. So make sure that you are staying tuned for that. Now, it wouldn't be fair to talk about all of the guests that I've had, all of these fabulous guests, without mentioning a specific someone who, honestly, it was the highlight. And so when it came to season 1, when I look back on season 1, there was just, because it was all new and it was all like, oh my God, and there's just too many people, there's too many good people that I can't choose. Like, oh, this was like my best episode, or this was my favorite episode, or whatever. I can honestly, hand on my heart, I can say that this particular individual, this particular episode, was my favorite episode, probably across season 1, and probably, like, obviously across season 2. Like, this individual was absolutely amazing. And it's not just the fact that they are a celebrity. And it's not just the fact that when I was a child, I looked up to this person and I loved their film that they were in. It was just such a good episode. We touched on so many different subjects, mainly mental health. And it's an episode, it is an experience that I will take to my grave. It is, and it was such a good first birthday episode of Spill It. And he has agreed to come back onto Spill It in season 3 when it's Spill It's 100th episode and Spill It's 2nd birthday, which coincide together. They fall on the same day, which is cool. So, yeah, Joey Kramer child actor from Flight of the Navigator, an 80s film. Obviously all grown up now. He came on the show. Now, when I say, like, he's a genuine guy, like, he didn't let celebrity life, like, well, when I say that, like, he's just such a genuine guy, he is such a genuine guy. Such a genuine guy. Like, I reached out to him over on Instagram, actually. I reached out to him over on Instagram, and he replied straight away. And he was just like, yeah, I'll come on the show. I'd love to do something like this. And I was like, seriously, what? I remember it clear as day. I remember sitting in the front room. I was with Glenn, my husband, and we were watching Flight of the Navigator. Flight of the Navigator was on, and Glenn looked at me and he went, "Oh, I wonder what he's up to nowadays." Like, this was like the only thing that I've really seen him in. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I never really thought about that." Like, I wonder if I could get in touch with him. I wonder if I could get him on the show to talk about his experience on Flight of the Navigator. And so I read up exactly where I could find him, and I could find him on Instagram, and I found him, and I dropped him a message, and I was just like, "Hey, so you were my absolute idol when I was growing up. I remember watching Flight of the Navigator and wanting to be you, flying around in the spaceship and collecting these little aliens and stuff. And I would do this show called Spill It, and I would absolutely love for you to come on the show." And he agreed. Like, I remember I sent the message. I then had to go to a friend's house. So I drove around to a friend's house, and I was in there. I walked in the door. I got a notification on my phone, and I pulled it out, and he replied. So within the hour of me sending that message on Instagram, he responded saying, "Yes, 100%. I would love to do something like this." And I was like, this is crazy. But seriously? And when he came on the show, he was just so good. He interacted with absolutely everybody who left a question or a comment. He was just such a genuinely nice person. And a lot of people said to me before the interview, they were like, you know what they say, never meet your heroes. And I was like, I know, but I have full faith, and I really, really want this to happen. And there was just something to start off with where I was scared. I was worried that he wasn't going to live up to this hype that I'd built up in my head. And he did that and more, even on the pre-interview. So before I bring my guests out onto the show, we have like a bit of a chat beforehand. And he was he was doing the pre-interview with me. We were just having a bit of a chat. And I was like, honestly, I just want to say thank you so much for this. And he was like, no, I want to say thank you so much for this. Like, the opportunity that you've given me. I was like, I have no words. Honestly, best guy ever. Best guy ever. Here is my final video clip for you all. It had to be Mr. Joey Kramer.
I think, well, follow your heart, follow your gut, do what you love, and success and joy will follow. Crush those obstacles, and don't be afraid to ask for help, and or smile at a stranger, spread some random acts of kindness, and just love yourself, because that's the most important thing, and practice makes better.
Practice does make better, indeed. And yeah, smile at a stranger. Just all of those words that he said, I really listened to them. He just made so much sense to me. He was just such a good person to have on the show. He was just such a good person to speak to in general. Like, his whole ethos, his being, his whole vibe. He was just a nice, chilled person to have on the show that spoke so much sense, that was just such a nice person. And yeah, he'll be back as well. He's going to come back on the show. So I can't wait for that. What a nice guy, though. What some great final thoughts as well, because we are coming to the end of today's episode. I'm going to let you guys all party the night away like it's 1999, like the saying goes. But yeah, before we go into the wrap up, I just want to say one more time, thank you to absolutely every single person who has tuned into the live shows or who has dropped onto the podcast, who has left comments, who has dropped me an email, who has reached out to me in any way, who has just shown support by sharing the podcast, by sharing the live streams, by tagging people, by inviting people into the live into the Spill It community. For all of my guests of season 2, thank you so much for making season 2 as awesome as it was. Thank you guys again once more, just for being so cool, by being so awesome, by supporting, literally just by listening, just by dropping in and listening. That way of offering support is phenomenal. So yeah, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I genuinely mean it as well. You genuinely have no idea how much it means to me, this little show of mine, and for having you all here and interacting every week. It's been amazing. So thank you. And that's pretty much the end of season 2. Now, as we are going into the new year, there is a few things that I wanted to share with you all. Now, think of this as my final thoughts, if you will, because at the end of every episode we give final thoughts. We've just had Joey Kramer's final thoughts again, which were awesome, but I wanted to give my final thoughts on New Year's in general. So here we go. Number 1, don't feel pressured into making any resolutions. So just because the calendar is ticking doesn't mean that you have to make a change. If you want the 1st of January to be a fresh start for yourself, then that's great. But there's nothing wrong with that fresh start being on any other day of the year. Okay? Just don't pressurize yourself. Every day is a new day for you to make a change. That leads me on to number 2. Number 2 is small changes can lead to big transformations. So if you're making small changes, you're more likely to stick with them. So if you're making resolutions, make sure that you give yourself a chance at meeting them. Start small and stay consistent, and you'll be amazed at the difference it can make. Okay? Do things small. You don't always have to jump headfirst into changing your whole life around. Start off small. Do these little small changes, and it links very well with number 1. You can start off small now, and then you can change that goal when you get further down the line. You can add to it. Just start off small. Just achieve something that's small now and have a really small win, because the small wins are the greatest, and they can make so much more change in your life because of that snowball effect, because of how it makes you feel. Moving on, number 3, it's okay to slip up. Okay? Don't pressurize yourself to make a major change overnight. Don't beat yourself up if you fall off the wagon and slip back into old habits. The truth is, a lot of us do it. Okay? Some people, they slip up their resolutions and they go, well, that's it now, I'm done. What was the point? And then they're too hard on themselves because they genuinely think that they failed. You're not a failure if you slip up. A lot of us slip up. How many people in everyday life make a small slip up? That's what life is. Life is about these small little mistakes, because that's when we learn from them. If we were perfect the first time around, we wouldn't be learning, which is why, for example, people say it's better to fail your test the first time around, like your driving test. Best to fail your driving test the first time around, because your second time around, you'll learn from it. You've got to slip up. Otherwise, you won't learn. So remember, it's okay to slip up. And number 4, remember that your mental health matters. So a lot of the things that I've talked about are to do with obviously general resolutions that we tend to make around this time of year, but it also applies to your mental health. So take a read back on what I've said and say, and with that in mind. So number one, don't feel pressurized into making any resolutions. Thinking of this as your mental health. Don't feel pressurized into making changes to your mental health. Like, don't feel pressurized. You don't need to put a timestamp on when you need to feel better by or when you need to start making these changes. These changes can happen whenever. All right. It's your mental health. Your mental health matters. Small changes can lead to big transformations. Nobody's expecting you to change overnight. Nobody's expecting you to wake up tomorrow and feel better about yourself or feel better about the way that you look or the way that you feel or how your mental health has affected you. Nobody's expecting that. Make these small changes to feel better about your life, about the way that you feel, about your mental health needs. If you know that there's a big picture out there, you know there's a big thing that you need to achieve, start off small because the snowball effect does work. Start off small, have those little wins, and you'll be fine. And then number three, it's okay to slip up. It's okay to have a bad mental health day, okay? Remember that. We all have them. The most positive person in the world can still have a bad mental health day, a day where they just need a bit of time just for themselves. That is fine. Okay, you're allowed to feel like shit. If you feel like shit, you feel like shit. It's fine. Okay, feel like shit. So it's okay to slip up. It's okay to feel a little bit shit one day. Okay, just pick yourself up. Make sure you feel like shit for a little bit. Carry on with your life. It's fine. Don't look back. Okay, 2022 is going to be about not looking back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and thems and friends, takes us to the end of today's episode and the end of 2021 and the end of season 2 of Spill It. Thank you so much. Now, before I go, I give all of my guests the opportunity to give a quote, and I am no different. So here is my quote for you guys today. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. I'm joking. Okay. Obviously, that's Maroon 5. But I'm joking. It's not a goodbye because we will be back. We'll be back in 2022 with a bang. This is my quote for you guys. Life is what you make it. Okay. This goes well with obviously what I've just been talking about with the New Year's resolutions and your mental health. Life is what you make it. Okay. If you feel like your life is shit, it's because you're making it shit. If you feel like your life is brilliant, it's because you are building your life up to be brilliant, okay? Life is what you make it. You have the effect to change your life, okay? You can change your life to how you see fit, okay? You have effect of your life. You have effect of how you deal with things in life. You have a way to I can't even speak, but the way that you affect your life. Oh my God, let me try that again. So you can affect your life in different ways. You can affect them in a positive way. You can affect them in a negative way. Okay. If, for example, something happens to you, how you let it affect you will determine how you feel about your life. So remember that, okay? Life will affect everybody differently, but it's how you let it affect you that matters. Life is what you make it, okay? And there we go. And that takes us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for everybody who has dropped in and said hello. Please go and party the night away. You deserve it, okay? If you want to get in touch with me, you want to come on to season 3 of Spill It, or you just want to drop me an email, say hi, wish me well, because I'm ill, I'm sick, then you can just drop me an email, marcus@spillit.uk, or you can get in touch on any of my social medias, spillit_Marcus. All of my social medias and links to the podcast and links to everything else and more is over on the website, www.spillit.uk. Now, once more, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all of your brilliantness all the way through season 2 and 2021. Until we spill it again in season 3, It's bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Split. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. Spill It goes live every week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And a special thank you to these amazing teacups.